Okay, welcome back once again to beginners drawing, and in today's lesson quickly what we're going to be learning is how to draw an ellipse, and specifically we're going to be drawing the ellipse by the rectangular method. So quickly, let's just say we're given a rectangle of our size 6 and 11 centimeters respectively. So we draw the major and minor axis, which is equal to, we draw the major and minor axis from our horizontal and vertical components using 6 and 11 respectively. So first, draw a straight line, 6 centimeters, that's the vertical line. So after that, you locate the center of the line, 6 centimeters. Make sure your line is vertical upward. Then after that, our next step is to draw 11 centimeters through it. So we have 5.5 at the middle. Start from here. So we now have this. Good. So stop at 11. Good. So we have that upward will be our major axis and downward will be our minor axis. So we complete the rectangle after that. To complete the rectangle, we come to this side, then you draw straight line of 6 centimeter. Good. This line 6 centimeter. Note, you could also make use of your t-square in order to get a very accurate value. But for me, since I'm a professional, so I don't need to use the t-square. I can use my ruler. So what we're doing now is completing the rectangle. So we are completing the rectangle, and we have this and also this. Good. Now, since we have already completed the rectangle, our next step will be to call the first straight line AB and this upward line CD. We call the horizontal component AB and the vertical component CD. So we call this point E. And after that, we now divide E into a number of 4 equal parts. Since we know that EA is 3 centimeters, that is, to now divide in 4 equal parts, that now be, each part will be around 0.7. So we take from our ruler here 0.7, and we step it off 4 times on AE. So we have 1, now have 2, so adjusting it over here. So we have 1, and now we have 1. So we now have 2, we now have 3, and 4. So which means our 1 will be around here, then our 2 will be around there, and our 3 will be around there. So after that, we now number it 1, 2, and 3. After that, we also call the center point where the vertical and the horizontal components meet. We call it center point O. Then we divide AO into a number of 4 equal parts. To divide AO into a number of 4 equal parts, since we know that AO is 5.5, so each division will now be around 1.3, yeah, 1.3 or 1.4 approximately. Yeah, so we take from our ruler 1.4. So we have 1.4 here. Then we now step it off 4 times on. We now step it off 3 times. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So we now mark it 1, then 2, then 3. Good. So we call this 1, then we call this 2, and we call this 3. After that, we now radiate lines from point C to 1, 2, 3 on AE. Radiate lines from C to 1, 2, 3 on AE. From C to 1, 2, 3 on AE. Radiate lines from C to 1, 2, 3 on AE. After we've already divided AE and AO, we now radiate lines from C to 1, 2, 3 on AE. Okay, so after that, we also radiate lines from D through 1, 2, 3 on AO radiate lines from D through 1 to 3 on AO. These lines are to pass through 1 to 3 on AO and touch the corresponding line from C. That is, a line drawn from D through point 3 will touch the corresponding line 3 drawn from C. This is the corresponding line 3. So the same thing is applicable to the other ones. A straight line drawn from D will pass through 2 and touch the corresponding line 2 drawn from C at this point. Then a line drawn from 1 will pass through point 1 on AO, is AO, and touch the line 1 from point C at this point. So these points are the curve points. So the same thing is applicable to the other three rectangles in the whole given rectangle. So to do this, we apply the same method. We take from here, rather than measuring it again, just take from here and step it off 4 times. We have 1, and we have 2, then we have 3 and 4. So now this will be our 1, and this will now be our 2, and this will now be our 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So radiate lines also from D to this point on A. You can call this point F. So we now radiate lines from point D to each point on AF. That is, we have this radiate lines from D to each point on AF. That is from D to each point on AF. So we have this. Now followed by this. Good. So after radiating lines from each point from D to each point on AF, then we now also radiate lines from C to pass through 1, 2, 3 on AO. After radiating line from D to this point on AF, we now radiate lines from C to pass through 1, 2, 3 on AO and touch the corresponding line. That is, this line drawn from C will pass through 3 and touch the corresponding line at this point. Mark the point. Then this line drawn from C we pass through 2. This line drawn from C we pass through 2 and touch this corresponding line at this point. Then another line drawn from C also pass through point 1 and touch this corresponding line at this point. So these are the curve points. These points are the curve points for the ellipse. So the same thing is applicable to the other 2 remaining rectangles. So we take from our ruler, we take from our divider from here, and just step it off. So we have 1, 2, then we now have 3 and 4. So now mark it 1, then now mark this 2, then now mark this 3. Okay, don't confuse it. So this will be 1, then this will now be around 2, then this will now be 3. So after that, also divide OB. You can call this GH. A, B, C, D, E, F, then GH. You can call this GH. After that, then we now take from this side and step it off on OB. So divide it into a number of 4 equal parts. So after we divide the OB into a number of 4 equal parts, okay, let's divide it first. So we have this 1, and now have this 2 and 3. So since we've divided OB to a number of 4 equal parts, then we apply the same method, radiating lines from C to each point on BG. Radiate lines from C to each point on BG. So we're radiating the lines, radiate lines from C to each point on BG. Radiate lines from C to each point on BG. After that, then you now radiate lines from D through each point on OB. Radiate lines from D through each point on OB to touch the corresponding lines. That is, radiate lines from point D to pass through this point. Radiate lines from D to pass through this point and touch the corresponding line at this point. Then now radiate another line from D to pass through this point and touch the corresponding line at this point. Then radiate one more line from D through this point, touching the third line from C at this point. So these are the curve points. Note. So after that, we apply the same thing for BH. We take here from our divider, then we now divide BH to number of 4 equal parts. We have 1, we now have 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, and we have 2, and we have 3 and 4. So after that, we write lines from D to each point on BH. Date lines from D to each point on BH. Date lines from D to each point on BH. Good. So after I date lines from D to each point on BH, we now date lines from C through each point on OB. I date lines from C through each point on OB. And this line from C is to touch the corresponding line. To touch this corresponding line at this point. And that line dated from C also pass through this point and touch the corresponding second line drawn from D at this point. And then the third one, third line from C also pass through this point and touch the corresponding line, third line at this point. So these are the curve points. So finally, to complete our ellipse, we now take our French curve and join each point which are the curve. So note, this is the most important part, and this is the beauty of today's work. Our curve must be perfect, okay, which means it must stay on each line. So we have this, we stand our point here, then we move our French curve closer to this point, not touching this point. Then we have this, you can see it's going to land on it. So then the other one is to start from here, and we draw our curve, and we push our curve, not our French curve, not to touch the second point, but to touch this first point. So we have this. As you can see, here I'm drawing my ellipse. Should also apply the same thing too. So after that, we now have this. We have this. We have this. We have this. Good. So we'll leave that. Come back to that. So from here, so we have this. Good. And this. Good. So we draw it. Make sure you have a perfect curve. Without having a perfect curve, is a 0 for you. So we're drawing the points together by using our French curve. And note, your ellipse must be perfect. Without getting it perfect, is a 0 for you in that your institution or any learning level. So you must be careful here in the curve. Good. So almost there. Just take a deep breath and calm down. It's very easy. You have this, and finally this. So these are the steps in drawing an ellipse by the rectangular method. In our next class, I'm gonna be learning how to draw the ellipse by the auxiliary method. If you like this video, subscribe, like, and keep sharing. Thank you.